I once heard a quote that when you put your hand in a flowing stream, you touch the last of what has gone before, the first of what is to come. And that's the same thing when you're in the woods. When you're sitting there in the woods, or you're casting a fly, and you know that there's a big fish or there's a deer that might come, that's all the time that's passed. That's all said and done. But you don't know what is still to come. You know what might still be to come, and that's what the adventure is. That's what the anticipation is. That's what the whole point of having an experience is all about. It's not knowing the future. An adventure is not an adventure if you know what's going to happen. I'm Damon Bungard. I grew up all over the world in the outdoors as an Army brat. I grew up hunting, I grew up fishing, I grew up paddling, I grew up just playing outside and having fun outdoors. I'm an engineer. I worked in the aerospace and defense business, and the opportunity came to come full-time to Jackson Kayak, and I'd known the Jacksons for a long time as friends and as paddlers, and eventually the opportunity was there to come help build kayaks. A couple of years ago, we decided that we wanted to make the best coolers in the market, so developed and launched the brand Orion Coolers. And so I manage the coolers and I manage the kayaks and get to use them and get to have fun with them the way they're meant to be used. Here at our factory where we live is on the edge of the Cumberland Plateau in Tennessee. Where that terrain changes, there's all these cool geology. You have rivers that go underground, you have canyons, you have steep drop-offs, you have awesome white water, and you have this pretty rugged terrain that people just don't utilize. And it's public land, and all you have to do is put in a little effort, put a backpack on, and get in there, and you have amazing just solitude, and you have awesome hunting opportunities or fishing opportunities, and you get into places people just don't see. Sometimes you're this river you can't walk across. Sometimes it's bone dry. It's early November here in Tennessee. Just like everywhere else, that means that whitetail rut's about to begin, and it's about to be the best time of year to be in the woods to see deer up and moving on their feet. Now, it's been a really hot summer, a drought all up and down the East Coast, and that adds a little bit of a challenge. It's warmer than I want it to be this time of year. Water sources are scarce, so that's a good thing. We can use those to our advantage. Deer have to drink. However, the hot weather is going to probably keep them bedded for more of the day than we want. So we have all those factors come into play. We'll play the wind, we'll play the dry, crunchy ground's going to be a factor because we're going in on foot. We're not going to be climbing a tree and waiting on a trail. We're going to be using the terrain. We're going to be using sign to try to figure out where these deer are, how they're hanging out, and try to get in a position with the muzzleloader to get the job done. So here, we're gonna throw a backpack on, and we're gonna go and do a remote region here on the Cumberland Plateau that, I moved here and I was told that deer just got old and died in there. Ready for the woods, for sure.
So it's about an hour before sunrise. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna head down, move fast, quick here in the dark. We're gonna drop down a few hundred feet, get to this bench that some deer might be funneling up on the way to their beds. So we're gonna get there, sit, let the sun rise, judge, and then we're gonna go deeper into the backcountry. Just gonna quick wind check. It's missing no wind.
So getting up and getting in early on a hunt like this is just basically a requirement to be where we want to be in position for that strategy that we'd already laid out. So a 4 a.m. start, by headlamp, by red light, that's just normal to get us where we wanted to be. And we had, hey, I want to get to this point by sunrise. So that's the mission. That's where you got to get by sunrise.
with a red headlamp was able to spot this rub that his buck's made, and he's hit it so hard he's actually even snapped the tree off. So this is kind of the start of this rib, this spine that drops down, and they use this spine to get in and out of this first kind of wash we're gonna go through. So this is a good sign. They're already starting to use it. They're already starting to travel. We got Orion flying in the sky above us. It's a good sign. We got buck sign here. This is good. We're getting into the steepest part right here. Just a lot of places, twist and angle, busting knee. Just gotta watch your step. The leaves are so dry. It's like walking on popcorn, walking on eggshells. So it's kind of hard to be sneaky, but we gotta be as sneaky as we can right now. Getting down. It's gotten a lot warmer as we're on our way down. We're gonna stop here. We're right on the top of a cliff behind. There's acorns falling, but we're gonna sit and we're gonna cool off. Managing our heat on a hunt like this, it's way hotter than it should be this time of year. So we have to do our best to try to keep our scent profile as minimal as possible when you're ground hunting. You just can't smell too much.
This time of year, the fresh leaves are down. It's incredibly noisy to walk anyway. The drought is only making it even louder. We made a lot of noise coming in, and I'm used to just my 2 feet. Now we had 4 feet. You have to adapt and react on the fly.
We're gonna get cool. We're gonna listen for a while. We have a little visibility. It's cooling off. We're hearing acorns falling. I'm hearing the woods waking up. What we're gonna do is, we've cooled off a little, so we're just gonna bounce. We're gonna bounce up over the next ridge to get to a spot where we can see a little better, a little more open. We'll sit there for a little while, let the morning take shape, and then we're gonna try to get to where just kind of move steady towards where we can find a good spot to set up camp and get our packs light. So get all that camp weight off our packs, then we'll be able to move quieter, move faster, move without getting as hot and sweaty. Falling on this knoll, and there's a bunch of sound right now. It's either a bunch of squirrels, a bunch of turkeys, or a bunch of hogs, or deer, but it's loud. Now, we got our wind going this way. See, there's a squirrel up in this tree. He's working the tree, he's dropping acorns. The deer like to bed on the far corner of this knoll. And we're gonna get our wind, we're gonna go around the knoll. And then make sure that this is just squirrels. Something bounded away as we approached. I just heard the first shot of muzzleloader season of fire.
There's a spot I wanted to hit first thing in the morning, and it's a known travel corridor. It's, it's within a few hundred yards of where I found that shed. Those bucks, they get up on this ridge, it's a high ridge, and they run up there, or they travel this low trail. So it's an overlook. It's facing a nice thick bottom, thick bedding cover, or they come up out of there and they run this ridge line. So I wanted to be there first. That's where I wanted to get before the sun came up, and that's where we got.
We're just gonna drop just off this top to where we can see this bottom better. Anything walking the top we'll be able to see. Grunt call quick and making enough noise. Maybe there's a curious buck that wants to see what we are.
I've really been wanting to rattle in a buck in Tennessee. And frankly, given the style of hunting that we were gonna do, I thought rattling might be the best way to get a buck to come to us. We knew we were gonna be on foot, loud, noisy conditions, so maybe getting one, being a little aggressive and getting one to come to us that might not otherwise do so might be a good strategy. They have 8 feet when there's a buck fight going on, and they're running and they're kicking and so they're making noise, they're breaking sticks, so I like to do the same thing when I'm rattling.
That makes anybody want to fight.
I let it get quiet, let it sit down, and cameraman Steve's like, ooh, what if a buck really comes in? I'm not going to be ready. So he gets his other camera out, and he's making all kind of noise behind me, and I'm just saying to myself in my head, oh, this is never going to work. Now they're going to hear Steve's camera, they're going to hear all this. So I decide, well, just cover it up. If he's making noise, that's the fighting sound. So then we let things settle down, and all of a sudden I just see motion, and I just point. There's a deer coming, So what do? I hit the grunt to kind of confuse them. Okay, maybe there is still a buck here. So I hit the grunt call. And that kind of froze him enough. It kind of froze him enough to kind of come around and check out. And he was kind of figuring out the gig was like, he was kind of figuring out something might not be right.
He's going down right there. Okay, well, plans don't often work out that fast, but calling worked. Buck came. We got a shot. We're gonna sit. We're gonna give him some time. And then when we're committed, we're in there now. It's already been a long morning, so we're gonna let the day play out. And I think things are looking good. Let's go try to find a blood trail. So, once you make that shot, it's responsibility all shifts to you, and it becomes, you gotta find that, everything you can to find blood and find that animal, recover that animal. And once you take a shot, you always want to make some visual landmarks. There's a pine tree here. I was at a rock outcrop there. So that should put us in this line. He was coming along this edge, and then here we go. Here we go. And this is what you're looking for, you know. Good blood. This is good solid blood. So we should have, this shouldn't be a very hard tracking job, but hopefully the blood stays consistent. But this is good, this is the first step. Shot's done, found blood. Now take the time and slowly work to that animal. Blood, blood. There's the last blood. He's bounding at this point. It's bleeding high. More blood. This is those thickets that those does bed in. And oh, just look at all the blood here. This should be a fast, very humane kill. And there he is. He's laying right here. Oh, look at that. Public land, Tennessee, backcountry buck. Little guy, interesting rack, no brow tines. That's not often. That pack's gonna get heavier. Oh, look at there. How about that, sir? Well, thank you very much. Thank you. All right, well, he's got no brow tines. Like a little mule deer, no brow tines. You know what's good about that? Is that this rack, so I rattled him in. This is the first buck I rattled in Tennessee. And to have that happen like that textbook is really cool. And the antlers I'm using, one of the things when you make your own set of rattling antlers is that the brow tines often bust your knuckles. So it's kind of cool that the first buck that I rattle in here in Tennessee doesn't have any brow tines because he's gonna make the perfect rattling rack. So we got more tags, and now the pressure's off. I got all my meat now for the year that I need. I wanted one more animal, this is him. And now I'm able to really have a good night in camp. We're gonna have some tenderloins in camp tonight. And then we will see what the morning holds. And then our legs and backs will be sore tomorrow. Getting out of here.
Often when you start these hunts, you have these expectations, grand expectations, and most often they don't really play out. But every once in a while, things work out more than perfect, and that's exactly what happened. I'm like super stoked. I got a new set of rattling antlers. We're already in, we're committed, and in Tennessee, I got 2 buck tags, so nothing left to do except try to use those antlers to rattle in another buck the next day. I can leave camp totally happy, deer on my back, awesome hunt. But there's a chance it could be an incredible hunt that would unparalleled. And so that's what we're going for.
Set this down. There's right up here, there's a cave. There's a spring, so we're gonna go get some fresh, cool water, and we're gonna get this meat out of this game bag and hung in the cool part of this cave. That'll be like a refrigerator, keep us away from the heat, to keep the meat preserved. This is what makes this camp so great. I got cave, I got cool, I got water. Time to fill up. In here. Watch your heads. Okay, crickets. Nice and cool in here. Dude. Opens and keeps going. Welcome to Limestone Caves in Tennessee. We actually got some stalactites over here.
Look at this giant cave cricket. Oh, it's badass. Look at there. Who knows how far this thing goes? Caves in Tennessee can go and go and go with this limestone. So I think this is probably far enough for me without a helmet. So I'll go set up camp. This is cool. You know, backpack hunting isn't a common style in the East because culturally there's not really much of a need to. There's a lot of areas, frankly, where you can get access to deer and get your deer where you don't need to go through that level of effort to do so. So a lot of people, frankly, don't need to work that hard to go have a good hunt. And a lot of that comes back to how do you define a good hunt? Is a good hunt simply getting your deer and putting it in the freezer, or is a good hunt really getting out there, turning off everything else in life, totally tuning in to what you're doing, where you're walking, where you're stepping, being in the moment, being in the mountain, and being rewarded for that engagement with your surroundings. So I have a spot picked out for the morning, and basically it's essentially a rock tower that is kind of at the base of two funnels. And the deer tend to come in and they'll either hit that tower and kind of split, they'll kind of choose a side. But there's kind of one point at the front of that rock tower where you can kind of have coverage of both. And it's a tight spot, but that's the way they come. So that's where I wanted to get to start and then make our decisions from there. Wind out of camp is doing what I was hoping it was going to do. It's kind of blowing south this way, so I'm going to head to a nice little pretty cool little rock perch. Hope we got some bucks funneling in. We're going to camp in one ravine. There's another ravine heading in. I'm hoping the spot we're going to set this morning, there's going to be bucks coming down one of the two. Face perfect. Wind is switching a bit on us. We're going to keep an eye on that. And if it doesn't give us the wind we want, we're going to have to move. We're on essentially a central rock tower. It's like a natural elevated stand. So leaving camp, the wind was perfect, just what I wanted. It was blowing kind of out and away from us, just perfect for that point. Get there, start checking it, and as is typical in these kind of mountain scenarios, the wind's not doing what I thought it was going to be doing there. Yeah, it's coming right into my face. It was perfect for that side. There's a natural flow wind there. I think we're gonna shift. You gotta take what the woods give you. And I just said, okay, we gotta commit to this one side. We're gonna lose visibility of the other, but this is the side that the conditions are gonna let us hunt. So that's what we chose. So we're set up, I'm using the fresh antlers, I'm rattling, I'm making a ruckus. You know, these deer, they're noisy. This time of year they are noisy. And based on the leaves, we have to take that to our advantage and make them think that if they hear us crunch, 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 that they think that we're a deer too. And that can sometimes happen. So I'm rattling, I'm making a stir, and we hear the footsteps. You hear them coming down just like you're supposed to, but then sure enough, go to the other side of the rock. So I was like, okay, like get up, we gotta go.
Sticking to that side. We're gonna move. Our wind's going, we gotta move. Pretty sure he got the better of our wind and took off. As often, if you're gonna rattle aggressive, they want to know what you are, so they'll often circle in and come in from the downwind side. So we got pretty aggressive and move fast to try to switch sides of this tower we're currently perched on. But I think he won, but that's half the fun.
Time outdoors and hunting, it teaches you decisions and responsibility. And ultimately, you make a call and you live by that call. And hunt the spot where the wind is right and where you have all these terrain advantages. This is the right spot to stick to it. So we go back, we sit back down, we accept that decision. Another rattling session, stomping, hitting the grunt. And then up the ridge, it starts to sound more and more like a buck making a scrape. And we hear an antler, we're hearing steps. And I'm like, wait, we got something coming. We can hear him, crunch. And it's thick. We're not gonna see this deer until he's 40 yards from us.
He was 20 yards with bow range. It's just perfect. I mean, he was so close. That's maybe 15 yards. He's bleeding really good. I see him. Oh, pal.
It's moments like these that define what hunting is all about to me. You come upon the animal and you give your respect, you give your thanks. And you know, he just fulfilled that part of the story that brings it all full circle. And now, it's all up to me now. I got an Orion full of ice in the truck up top. I gotta get 2 loads of meat out to it. And now I have over 100 pounds, 120 pounds, I don't know, of venison to process. And I have meat to share with friends and family. And we'll remember that every time I sit down at the dinner plate, I have that memory. Every time I pick up those antlers through Whitetail, I have that memory. Every time I see that rack now will be on the wall somewhere, I'll have that memory. So I have all of that from just committing to getting out, disconnecting, getting into the woods, and this hunt will never be forgotten.